Michelle Street is my peer. We both work in the small business office here, and she's over the Deputy Director for Operations. So Michelle, I would like you to say a few words, if you don't mind.
Okay, I was on my way to order lunch.
I know.
Before the crowd stepped in. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming today. We view this as a very important event on our calendar every year. Excuse me. But one of the things I wanted to share with you is that as a team, we met as an OSDBU about 2 weeks ago when we had our all-hands staff meetings, and we met for a week about a lot of different things that we wanted to accomplish over the next fiscal year. And one of the things that applies specifically to your group is that we talked about having one specific goal that we wanted to meet, and that was to increase our achievement in the SDVOSB, because that's how we don't look at you all as just a goal, but it is something that we're federally mandated to achieve. So as you know, we are, you may or may not know, we are required to achieve a minimum of 3% to service-disabled, veteran-owned small businesses, and we have not met that goal for the past several years. So what we have done as a collective, as an OSDBU, is that we looked at that goal and we said we need to increase our achievement in this area by 10%. If we do that, then we will meet the minimum goal of 3% overall. And that amounts to about $70 million. And then we took it a step further and said, well, what areas in particular can we look at to push to meet this goal that we have? And we identified 2 areas, and the 2 target areas were in IT and in actions below the SAT. So what does that mean for you? That means that specifically in our OSDBU, we make a conscientious effort to achieve all our goals, but for SDVOSB, we have a plan. And so one of the things that I would like you all to do is, if you see procurements in those 2 targeted areas for us, then that's good. So I'm saying something funny. If you see requirements that rest in those 2 areas, that you all come together and that you find other SDVOSBs that can at least get these procurements set aside. Does that make sense? So like when you see a source of salt, an RFI, or if you know of a procurement, don't try to go at it alone. Get with others that are within your socioeconomic category and say, let's respond to this. Because if there's 10 of you that are now responding, then it gets very difficult for them to say that no small business is capable, and specifically no SDVOSB is capable, right? So we have to be very strategic in how we approach this. And then when you do that, as you know these things are hitting the street and you know you're coming together to respond, let Marvin know, let Natasha know, let Anita know that you all have a plan, that you're gonna go after this. And now you have somebody on the inside that can talk to program and say, look, I know that there are 10 to 12 SDVOSBs that are gonna respond to this requirement. So you might as well plan on setting it aside now. And would you like to come, and would you like for us to set up something so that we can have the discussion? Does that make sense? And then so the other thing that we are gonna make a conscientious effort to do is to have more outreach, targeted outreach events at the OpDivs and the staff divs, specifically for veteran-owned small businesses, okay? And again, we're targeting SDVOSB because that's what we're federally mandated to do. But it doesn't mean that others can't come along. You come along because the goal is to get it set aside to small business first. And then we want to start looking at the socioeconomic categories underneath that, all right? And so that's one of the areas that we are headed that directly impacts this audience here today and beyond. And if you have any ideas for us in terms of how we can, other areas we can look at, how we can strategize to really meet that goal of increase by 10% or $70 million, you know, please let us know, because the plan is for me my team has charged me to say, hey, you need to go out and talk to the HCAs more about this. And so I don't plan to be in the office very much. I plan on going and talking to them about this and several other things as it relates to small business. And so if you have any ideas on what we can do, because we need to work in collaboration to help meet these goals, right? We can't do it alone. You can't do it alone, not that you're trying to meet a goal. I mean, when anybody's trying to get a contract, are you doing it to meet our goal? No. Okay. So that's not lost on me, but we do need to work together to see where our mutual interest is, and then how we can then leverage our relationship and partner together to see that veteran-owned small businesses get their fair share of the $25 billion that that HHS had obligated in 2017 and 2018 in contract actions. Okay, do you want some of that? Okay, well, I want you to have it. Okay, so thank you. I'm gonna try to beat them into the cafeteria now. Okay.
Thank you, Michelle. Oh, he has a question. Go ahead.
So procurement's below the SAT, right? So if you, does anybody know the latest rule change, not rule change, but the latest law that passed, right? That the SAT, the simplified acquisition threshold, was increased. Does everybody know what it was increased from to what? 152 to 250. That's a big gap, right? And so if you also know in FAR 19505, I believe, it says that procurements under the SAT should be set aside to small businesses, right? Okay, so that's where we see, there are other things to that FAR reference, of course. I'm not gonna go into all of it. You can look it up yourself. But that's an opportunity for us, right? So we have the acquisitions under the SAT, and then we have IT, because we also know that HHS does a lot of IT. There are specific optives that do more IT than others. CMS and FDA are two of them. And Anita is here to talk about that. And she is actually working in partnership with other organizations in terms of working around our SDVOSB goals. But we do a lot of IT, and that is an area where that is ripe for small business prime participation that I don't think that we've fully taken advantage of. We do have existing contracts within HHS that are government-wide or department-wide. We have Spark, and Anita can tell you a lot more than I can about the Spark contract, which is IT. Several small businesses on there. We have CIOSP 3 small business. There are other contracts that GSA has, that NASASOUP has. There are, we're looking at category management. I know some of you all might have, if you had your druthers, you would see category management go away, but it's here, and we're going to utilize it to the best of our ability. So there are tiers to category management that inform us that there are best-in-class vehicles, right? And all kinds of other things that are going on there that we need to now understand that it's there. And now we have to take care of it. It's like a baby showing up on your door. What are you gonna do? You gonna turn it away? No, you're gonna do whatever you can do to integrate it into your life. And so that's what we're going to do, okay? Yes, does that answer your question? That's okay. No worries. Yes, sir.
Yeah, you almost answered my question about
almost
about vehicles.
Okay.
And category management. That train is down the rail already. So
done.
we're not going to talk about that. The Air Force and the Navy on Guam declared that Oasis would be one of their best-in-class vehicles. Mm-hmm. And so we're using it on Guam right now.
Right.
But I have to come to DC to find partners to use those vehicles. Has HHS identified preferred vehicles like that? Or do you have internal vehicles that we need to focus on?
Absolutely. In terms of which ones you need to focus on, I'm not going to tell you that, because that's a business decision that you all have to make based on the acquisitions that are pending, right? Or how you want to team up or partner with companies that already have contracts, right? So I'm not going to make those types of recommendations to you because of the investment that goes into getting on and partnering and things like that. So I'm not going to do that. We do have strategic sourcing vehicles at HHS. They are available on our website. You can talk to your small business specialist about them. OASIS is also a best-in-class under category management. So one of the things that you all should know is that HHS as a department has drastically exceeded our goals in terms of category management. And so we just need to really leverage what's already there and how people are already using it to push it to more, you know, if you are on those vehicles already. But you know, we can strategize together. And these are things that we need to have meetings about, we need to have round tables about. You know, our hope is that we do something quarterly with this specific constituent group so that we can really get this moving. And it doesn't just start and end in FY19, it's moving forward too. And then we have to move on to HUD Zone. And I believe I heard you saying that you are not only a veteran-owned, but you're also a HUD Zone, right? Yeah, I did hear that. Okay, so those are the conversations I want to have. If you're sending me a capability statement, then I'm going to put you onto someone else that can help you better than I can, right? But if you want to talk about some strategic or tactical things that we could do as a department, as an OSDBU, to get things going, to have larger conversations that I'm interested in. Just as an FYI, and I'm going to give the mic back to you. This is what happens when I need to eat. But so I was contacted yesterday about some folks at FedRAMP, and they wanted to know from me what some of the obstacles are that small businesses face when it comes to getting FedRAMP certification and all of this. And they wanted me to give you them an answer. I said, I can't do that. And they said, why not? I said, because I haven't spoken to any small businesses. I said, because what usually happens is the government says you need this certification and that certification, run, go get it. And we don't really have an understanding of what you go through to get it, what the cost is incurred to get it. And so I didn't even want to front like that. And I said, now what I can do is if you want to talk to small businesses, or if you want to give me a questionnaire to disseminate, or if you want me to organize a meeting with small businesses so that you can have that discussion, let's do that. Because I don't talk about things in a vacuum. My title does not mean that I know things. Did anybody on my team hear me say that? Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean that I know things. It knows that I know how to organize and how to get people together and put people in the room that know things, right? And so it's things like that. So if you want to have those discussions, let me know. All right, everything else goes to SB Mail. Thank you, Linda.